Sorry, I don't have my thing, so I'm actually doing that under there. Anyway, this is round two. So we were talking about my hair, and we were talking about my depression, and the fact that my friend. Um, by the way, of course my phone is turned up because why wouldn't it be right now that I'm doing that? Let me turn it down. Um, by the way, I'm using my mom's computer. She had this back when I was in high school, and I'm 33 years old. So it restarted on me. So this is the second round. So I'm just gonna put I just put the title as WTF because it's not Friday, so it's not my WT Friday show. Um, but now let's kind of go into my depression of what happened over the past year because if you don't know anything that's going on in the YouTube space, Collider, I was about to just say Collider Live. Collider, who's owned by Mark Fernandez, just pretty much fired everybody and ended every show that built that company. So doing that and seeing all of what people have to say, I have probably alluded to it and I probably said a lot about it. I don't remember everything I said, but I got some new information a little while back between not having a computer. I still don't have a computer, by the way. Again, I'm using my mother's, which is like 12 years old, something like that. It's like a decade old, no matter what. Still a nice computer, though. Um, I lost my job about a year and 2 months ago. I was working for, and something I'm going to say before I say anything more. This is nothing negative I say is going to be against the company itself. It's going to be against a couple individuals that abused their power and when they were given a chance to do the right thing, did not. So that's what is about to happen. As far as the company that I worked for, I absolutely loved that company. That's why, even to this day, if they text me tomorrow and said, we watched that video, we're going to reopen the investigation, we're completely sorry about what happened, here's your job back. And here's money and all that. I don't care what they would do. Even if they just gave me my job back, I would probably go back. I probably would. I absolutely loved the position I was in. I loved the future that I had with the company, and I loved the people I worked with. I absolutely did. And so this is nothing against the company. I still very much love the company. Sorry, I'm putting up the comments. I do not do that. Okay, sorry, it just was loading up on my thing. I thought it was going to restart. So I absolutely love the company, and I've actually sent people to the company. I've told them that they can make some serious money. Um, there's a manager that I sent that works. What the fuck? Okay, I think you guys can still see me. Like, I don't know what's going on with her computer right now. Ah, yeah, it's just stuff pulling the fuck up. Sorry, that confused me because the screen went blank. Um, so there's a manager that works there now that I sent over because of the opportunities that they have, because of how they pay well, like benefits, all that kind of stuff. I absolutely love this company and would love to work with them again. But the company that I worked for is not Pizza Hut. Even though I worked at Pizza Hut, I did not work for Pizza Hut. I worked for CFL Pizza Hut, which is a company that owned the franchise. Now, in that company, there was a area coach named Ruthie Davis who completely and utterly fucked me over. And she did it because somebody had her ear. And I've actually found out that this person caused me a lot of trouble. And what was funny is at the time, this person was not even in my store. But this person was coming back to my store knowing very well that if she came back, I was going to cause trouble for her, not out of anything but the fact that she does not do her job correctly. And because this person had, because Ruthie had known this person since before she was even of legal age to work at the store, she never monitored anything that she did. Like, she could do anything she wanted, never monitor it. And the perfect example between the difference, because technically we were both on the same level, I got paid a lot more money. And on top of that, I had a year of experience before this person. And I was on track to becoming an assistant manager, all that kind of stuff. But I also trained this person, and she just went against all my training, which I trained multiple people and they all did very well. So, but, so this will be the difference. There was one time in between, it was way before I trained her. So I hadn't been a manager, but maybe for 6 months. And there's a string coming off my shirt. And it was a Saturday, which if you know anything about pizza, Saturday is a very, very busy day. I'm all over the place, guys. So it was an extremely busy day. I wasn't at the point that I was towards the end, or at the point that I am now. So I could handle it, but I was still feeling very, very stressed out. And we had this moment where me and my GM went outside because she opened, so she would be there until about 8 o'clock, typically. If it was busier than this, it was just one of those random nights. She would stay later, but she was about to leave. My mom came up because she constantly visited, so I could see my daughter, all that kind of stuff. And right in front of my boss, I asked my mom for an anxiety pill because I was having bad anxiety. I do have anxiety. I just never been diagnosed. But talking to people that have anxiety, they've told me, I'm pretty sure you have anxiety because you're going through the exact same shit as I am. But so I asked her for a pill. She gave me the pill, and I felt a little off. I was acting it up, but I was still doing my job. I was doing it for comedic effect during the night, but I will tell you the biggest effects that I had was like, and it's stuff that I do anyway, but like right now I can see I put in my drawer a deck of cards and there's a Queen of Spades and it's facing me because of how I put it in the drawer. That night, if I would have looked at that Queen of Heart or Queen of Spades, I would have been like, and just stared off for longer than I should. And that happened at the end of the night. Now, I will say I busted my ass the entire night. And the two people that I worked with the most, Adam and Todd, they will tell you I bust my ass every night. There was almost no nights where I even slightly took it easy on myself. While I do that, okay, it looks like I'm back on again. Sorry, again, old computer, so I do apologize so badly. I'm gonna get a new one, I promise. But so I helped them the whole night, and then by the time they finally got back, one started doing dishes, one started doing floors. I started doing my inventory, cleaning the greaser, all this kind of stuff that I normally did. I got done faster than them because it's paperwork. Of course, I'm going to get done faster. But this specific night, I only got done maybe 10 minutes faster. And so when at the point that I got done, Adam had like very few dishes left. Todd had maybe this much of the floors that he still needed to do, which was basically to the camera here, here, and here. So like there was nothing for me to really help them with. So I pulled out my phone, I looked at stuff real quick, and by real quick I mean I looked at stuff and then was like, for a little bit longer than I should have. The moment Todd's floors dried up to that point, I got up, I did these last minute things that were technically not part of my job, but I did them to help the morning crew. The Monday after this, I got pulled outside basically got told off without telling me what day it happened or anything like that. I literally got told, I looked at the cameras and you were looking at your phone all night instead of helping people. And you got out super, super late. If you would have helped them, you wouldn't have gotten out and just gone off on me. And because I didn't know the day, I didn't know the circumstance, I didn't know anything about that, I kind of was just like dumbfounded, like, well, wait a minute, I bust my ass every single night. I don't sit down. I'm barely on my phone. And when I am, it's only for a few seconds. Like, first of all, I have a daughter. I'm constantly checking my phone for that. I'm constantly checking my phone for other stuff. So it's like, but I still bust my ass more than anybody in the store. Now, on the other side, I would literally get calls from Todd and Adam when I wasn't there. Or not calls, I'd get texts. I always say calls, but I would get texts at 3:30 in the morning because they knew I was up. And they would literally say this: dude, we finished an hour ago and we cannot leave because she is still doing paperwork. She has been doing paperwork for over an hour. Now, this was on typically a night that we didn't close at 1 a.m., but they were texting me at 3:30. So let's say they did close at 1 a.m. That means if they're texting me at 3:30 saying they were out in the parking lot for an hour, that means that they finished their job at 2:30, an hour and a half after close. And this person is now at 2.5 hours doing paperwork. No. Now, I told you that the grease and some of the cleaning stuff that I helped with and did and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, paperwork, and if the guy doing dishes is outside, that means the grease, the fryer, that was done because he has to clean the parts. So they were done. The paperwork took 15 minutes, and that's including sending an email to the area coach. So this person had been sitting there for 2.5 hours doing paperwork. Not one thing was ever said to her. And this happened every single night she closed. It would take 2.5 hours for her to do the paperwork. And I watched her one night. I ended up being a driver one night, and I looked out the corner of my eye and watched her as I was doing my job. She would go to do the email, type one word, sit there, type the next word, sit there. So that's what took her so long. She was delaying it as much as humanly possible. So this was the clear difference. Somebody that did not do her job correctly, did not care about time, was getting overtime specifically because she was forcing it, versus me, who busted my ass, who would get paperwork done in 15 minutes. There were times that we closed at midnight. My drivers left at 12:10. I left at 12:20. And they scheduled us till 1 o'clock. So I would be out early as hell. I would bust my ass. I was working 7 days a week. I was working 50 to 55 hours per week without complaint because I absolutely loved my check. I loved my check. I loved getting money. I loved doing all that. But so that's the clear difference. Now, I've probably said what I got fired for, but I'm going to tell you the two incidents that happened and then what I was ultimately fired for, and then we're going to go back into that person. Now, that person brought up all this stuff, and that's why I was being monitored that I didn't know about. But the first instance, now, if you've worked in the restaurant business, which don't even work in the restaurant business, I don't have it handy, but go watch the movie Waiting and take out all the gross stuff that ultimately should get a place shut down and fired, like everybody fired for. I'm talking about more of the conversations that happen. I guess that's every business. Everybody has inappropriate conversations. It's jokes, it's fun, it's stuff that we do. And ultimately, that was one of the biggest things. So the first reason was an inappropriate conversation. Now, it started out as a joke between me and the assistant manager, Cayman, who is a homosexual male who would flirt, and this is why I bring up the homosexual male, would flirt with every man in the store pretty much, including, and this is the one of the rules that CFL has, if you're a manager, you are not to be out in public with anybody that you are in charge of. Not only would he be out in public with people that he was in charge of, he would be out in public with people he was attracted to. He would have his arms around them, and he would post pictures that the area coach herself followed and saw. No problem there, apparently. But I made the joke, and it was a one-off statement. It wasn't dirt. It was dirty intent, but it was not dirty, because I literally said, "We all know you're into BDSM," and then I walked away. As I was walking away, the girl that was on the cut table looked over at me and goes, "I'm really surprised. You know what BDSM is?" And I said, "Yes, I do." That's the first statement I made. I only made 2 statements in this conversation. Then she proceeded to go, "Do you know what it stands for?" And I'm like, "Not off the top of my head, but we're kind of busy, so maybe later." That was it. That was the inappropriate conversation. Now, I will tell you, because I've had conversations, yeah, I can pretty much figure out what BDSM is. Bondage, domination, sodomy, and masochist. Now, of course, if you want, you can comment if I'm wrong, but it's irrelevant whether I'm right or wrong. That was the conversation I had. The conversation. But because it was with a female employee, that was one of the reasons why I was fired. She asked me 2 questions. I answered both questions, and even my second one, if you look at it, I'm trying to steer the conversation away. I'm trying to go back to work, and I was fired for it. She, on the other hand, was not fired for it whatsoever. So both of us in the exact same conversation, I was fired, she was not. Then on top of that, when I said I didn't even bring up the conversation, like I wasn't trying to talk to her about that, the area coach, Ruthie Davis, and I'm going to say it over and over again, so come at me, I'm not lying. She looked at me and said, "Well, you're the manager, you should have known better." True. My job title is shift manager. But if we go to that specific day, and this first sentence is no excuse, I was clocked in as a driver that day. So I wasn't a manager at that point in time. Now, that's no excuse. My job title is still shift manager, and everybody will tell me that. But the more interesting part, the girl, which is not the first girl that I was talking about, this is a totally different girl. The girl was actually clocked in as a shift manager. So now I just got the area coach telling me to my face, because I'm a manager, I should have known better, when I was clocked in as a driver and she was clocked in as a manager. So because I was the male in the conversation, because I was a manager, I should have known better. But a female in the conversation and a female manager, she's allowed to say whatever she wants, apparently. So whatever. And I have no problem with it. I love working with female managers, but it's just like, you can't do that double standard in that. So ultimately, that in itself should not be a reason I get fired. Because ultimately, because you didn't fire her, same situation. My punishment was getting fired. Her punishment was not getting fired. Okay. But I told you there was 2 situations. Now, the other situation, I would say I'm at fault, but here's the problem. The other person didn't actually complain about it whatsoever. In fact, telling the area coach that she had no issue with me. Also telling me she had no issue with me. And yet I was still fired. This was the situation. Now, anybody can tell you I'm a very affectionate person. I'm very old school in that. I'm not coming at anybody with any kind of BS or stuff. If you're my friend, I will give you a hug. I will give you a kiss on the cheek. And it's not just because of who I am. It's because of the people I'm around. I've had countless friends. I find it funny when I don't do that, because one of my friends, I was hanging out with her, but I knew her sister from high school, but her sister doesn't remember me, which is kind of sad because we were like in so many classes together, in so many groups, and we had so many common friends. That's why, and the girl's gorgeous, which is why I remember her. But I remember I got invited to her baby shower. So 9 months pregnant, still looking beautiful, dress, and she had high heels that were like 6 inches, 8 inches long, something like that. And I'm hanging out with the sister, who the sister is not a touchy-feely person, so I didn't think anything of it. So she comes in, she says hi. I'm like, hi. I'm sitting on the couch. She comes over, bends over with a nice fucking 8-month belly in 6-inch heels, gives me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. I was like, I'm a complete asshole. I really did. I felt like a complete asshole. So like the people I'm around, I give, you know, I mess around with my guy friends and all. Like my buddy Adam from high school, I've given him a kiss on the cheek before because it's funny to us. And I give his wife a kiss on the cheek every now and then. Big ol' hug, kiss on the cheek. They're family. That's what we do. My friend Katrina, I give her a kiss on the cheek every time I saw her. I absolutely adore and love her. And she's part of the situation too, because I'm pretty sure Ruthie went to her and said some stuff, because she hasn't talked to me since a certain situation that happened for work. And now, because of this person, I've lost my job and my best friend. And while I have hope that my best friend will come back, because I absolutely adore her, she is my family, and I know this is not her. So anybody that knows me and knows Katrina, send her my love. She's an amazing person, and she deserves so much better than what life gives her sometimes. And I'm always rooting for her. I'm always wanting her to do more, because I see so, like, she is one of the best people I know. She really is. And I don't think she gets enough of that. But that's a different conversation. So, Katrina, love you. Hope to talk to you again one day. Um, Even though we didn't talk, and even though, you know, I didn't get to see you afterwards, it was really nice running into you. Um, Although it threw me for a loop and I cut my hair because of it. Thank you, because I actually like this. Although you probably don't like this. But anyway, back to the situation. So I made a friend, and I was friends with her for about 4 months. We didn't even work together, really. She worked in the mornings, I worked at nights, and we crossed maybe an hour, and we developed this nice rapport, nice friendship. I only had to work with her 2 times, and that was because Dana needed someone to work mornings, um, and Dana always asked, so I did that. Um, but in this friendship, she gave Cayman a hug, she gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Like, it was just common occurrence. And while Dana was there, hug, kiss on the cheek, it was a no big deal. And even she and I had conversations where she said, "Yeah, I don't mind. You can kiss me on the cheek. I don't care." And so for 3 to 4 months, I gave her a hug, kiss on the cheek, hug, kiss on the cheek. Nothing really special. Really nothing special. And all of a sudden, there's the second situation. And so I got fired for giving a friend a kiss on the cheek, and I got fired for having an inappropriate conversation where I actually didn't say anything inappropriate to the person in the conversation. Meanwhile, the girl that I gave a kiss on the cheek to, she still hugs multiple people and gives a kiss on the cheek to multiple people in the store. And the other girl did not get fired for the inappropriate conversation, and she has had multiple inappropriate conversations in the store. In fact, the whole reason why I even talked to this girl to begin with, because she's kind of a ditz, and I'm sorry if you think that's offending, but she really really is. And I was just like, ugh. But she was getting treated badly by Cayman, the assistant manager, and I was like, I don't need an insider to quit. Like, Dana had gone. I was the longest standing manager in that store, and I was like, I need this store to run. I don't need people quitting. So I'm going to talk to her. And I think I even said this to several people. I'm like, I'm going to try talking to her so she knows that, you know, not everybody hates her. And the very first conversation we had, she says, "Oh, back when I worked at Taco Bell, I would take the sour cream gun that we had. I would go around and shoot people in the face with it, effectively giving them a money shot. And if you don't know what a money shot it is, it's when in the porn industry, basically somebody gets cum on their face, like they get a facial, and that's what she was doing. So that was the first conversation I ever had with her, and yet I was the one fired for inappropriate conversations. Again, all this was wrong. Then, so Ruthie Davis did that to me. Since then, she has been promoted twice now. So she screwed me over and got promoted. But we're not going to end there. So that's how I was treated. I was immediately fired, even though both situations really, one went against a policy stating you cannot tell someone that it's okay to do this, this, and this, and then turn around and say that it's no longer okay, which was the kissing on the cheek. And then the inappropriate conversation, you cannot discipline one person without disciplining the other. That's just common practice in management. I mean, I had to write up my friends. I'm sorry, things are still popping up on my mom's computer. It's really bothering me. Okay, there we go. I had to write up my friends that, I knew busted their ass, but I had to write them up because it was what I had to do. And I wrote up other people. Like, there was this one guy that I really liked, but there was a couple things that happened which was not a big deal that night, but could have been a big deal. So I had to write him up so that he was more cautious in what he was doing. I had to do all this. And I've had to write up multiple people that I really didn't want to write up, but because we needed to discipline this one person, I had to discipline multiple people. So all that happened. Now, this is what I found out, besides the fact that that one person had Ruthie's ear and actually caused all these situations to be messed up, because she knew about me kissing Veronica on the cheek. And with Kaylin, the inappropriate conversation, she knew that I thought she was cute. I did think she was cute. I said, she's not my type. I like talking to her, but that's about it. So because of that, that's why I was being monitored. Because something I said outside of work, and because she was trying to find a way to get me in trouble. So after I left, she got moved into the store. I found out recently that this one guy who doesn't know me at all, never worked with me, knows my name, knows that this person caused me so much trouble, and then said it's kind of bullshit because then she grabbed my ass twice and only got written up for it. Excuse me? I kissed a girl on the cheek and had an inappropriate conversation, and I got fired. This person grabbed somebody's ass twice and did not get fired. Got a write-up. Are you fucking kidding me? That is beyond unfair treatment. Furthermore, you remember Cayman that I talked about earlier, the assistant manager? 2 months, no, because Dana was still working there. About 4 or 5 months previous to this, his boyfriend got fired from the same company, which actually his store was out that way, from the same company for sexual harassment because he took, I don't have a cup. Oh, I do. So this girl at his store had a Starbucks cup, which this is a Monday Night Raw cup. He wrote something extremely inappropriate on it, like telling her to go suck dick or something like that. And while the girl had no issue with it whatsoever, she lived with her mom. Her mom saw the cup, contacted corporate. And after a 2-week investigation, he was ultimately fired. And there was physical evidence. Physical evidence. Whereas mine, there was no physical evidence whatsoever. Both people said that they had no issue with me whatsoever, yet I was fired in 2 days. And they never asked me my side of the story until the day I got fired. Quite literally, She took my statement. Sorry, I gotta put this back. She took my statement, read it, shuffled it to the back, and immediately handed me a fully filled out termination notice. Because she said, and I quote, "This doesn't match anything that I have. So your investigation gets new information, and instead of investigating my claims like you should do, you're just going to fire me because you've already filled out the form." So there was no hope in hell that I was ever going to get my job back. I could have literally put on there, and it could have been 100% true that I didn't do any of that. It could have been all falsifications, and it could have all been just completely and utterly wrong, and you were going to fire me anyway for it. Really? But then because you came in and you like his boyfriend, you do a 2-week investigation with physical evidence. Like there's no statements that need to be taken. There's physical evidence. Then, because it's someone else you like, grabbing people's asses at work, people that she's in charge of. So she's a manager, he was a driver. She's grabbing his ass on multiple occasions. Oh, she just needs a write-up. That's all. That's all she needs. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Then also, I went off on Cayman finally because I did not know I could get my ServSafe certificate online. So I called him up and I was like, "I'm trying to become a manager. Can you please get me my ServSafe certificate and give it to Todd so he can give it to me, because I'm really trying to become a manager. I'm not making enough money." He goes off on me, and finally I had had enough by that point. And I fucking told him, I'm like, "You know what? You are fucking ridiculous. Your boyfriend went through this exact same thing, and you went off on you're not protecting me at all when you know for a fact I didn't do anything wrong and didn't do anything to either one of those people. And then I'm sitting there holding in information because you fucked your boyfriend in the walk-in, and I never told anybody. I have all this stuff that you've done, and what do? You don't even have my back." And I'm not even asking people to sit there and say he did nothing wrong. I'm asking him not to fill out a form. He in no way had to fill out a form stating that I did anything. But because who gives a shit? Doesn't matter what I've hold in, what secrets I have of his. Nope, I'm going to fill out a form saying he was wrong. So nobody had my back whatsoever. And it's like his boyfriend had just gone through with it. And like I said, he had sex with his boyfriend in the walk-in. Now, it gets even worse when you find out that he's HIV positive. And I don't care, your secret's out. Go fuck yourself. Because you're doing that kind of dirty shit next to food. You are HIV positive and you are having sex with your boyfriend in the walk-in cooler at your job while getting paid. Go fuck yourself. And then you do stuff that the area coach knows you're doing inappropriately, and yet she does nothing about it. So go fuck yourself, okay? But after all this went down, I did what I was supposed to do. I found a new job. I started contacting HR, and I said, "This was not properly investigation. I did not do anything wrong." I put everything in there. I'm like, "These are the situations. I was told that she had no issue." From her mouth, she said she had no issue. She would kiss me on the cheek. She would hug me. I did all of that. I heard nothing back. It took 9 months for them to get back to me. 9 months. And in the email, you could tell I was a joke around the office. Because in the email, it literally stated, "Guess who?" First of all, why would you write on that email with that title line and not change it when you're sending it to me? Because that literally told me that you guys got every single one of my emails and did not care. Because I sent emails. I called their place multiple times to have them not answer. I left messages. "Please call me back. I just need to talk." Not one thing. Finally, the person, head of HR, or at least she said she was head of HR or something like that. I still have the emails to this day because I was collecting all that information to try to find a lawyer because I did nothing wrong. And I tried to find a lawyer. No lawyer will take my case because Florida is a right to work state, which, by the way, that is bullshit too. But in her email, she says, we are not going to do anything about this. We have moved on in the company. We did a proper investigation. Proper investigation. We take sexual harassment very seriously. Now, I did answer back to that part because I told her this was not investigated properly. How do you figure blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, and you think I don't take this very seriously? I'm the one being accused of it. And I'm literally telling you I did nothing wrong. I'm trying to fight it with everything that I have because I'm taking it seriously. No response whatsoever. So that was the year from hell. That was it. And I don't care. I'm putting it out there. I still, like I said, to this day, I would love to go work for the company, but I am doing this because automatically I want this kind of bullshit to change. Because this is complete and utter bullshit. I understand everybody is probably going to comment if anybody actually watches this and say that, I shouldn't have kissed her on the cheek if they want to bring up the Me Too movement and everything. Do people not understand what those movements are about? They're not just about one sex versus the other. They are about injustice, first of all. And the thing of the matter is, we cannot go from one extreme to another because literally in this situation, it's made out to believe that only men can commit sexual harassment. Now, Ruthie Davis, the other manager, the two girls involved, every single one of them, and then the HR person is another female, all of them telling me that, nope, you committed sexual harassment, fuck you, basically. And like, I didn't, and you know, the girl I kissed was asked after I got fired, like, why did you complain? She goes, I didn't complain. Ruthie came to me. So now you also find out that neither girl went to management. Management went to them. So management was watching me for no reason whatsoever. So those are the people that you got working for you. And if you are high up on CFL, these are the people that you put in power. And this is a strict abuse of that power in itself. You are a fantastic company. I loved working for that company. I loved my job. I could have the most stressful night on the planet and I wasn't stressed as much as I thought I was at the time. And I got paid very well for it. And I had an amazing staff who treated me very well, and I miss every day. I don't get to see people. I don't get to see my friends anymore. And then, like I said, on top of that, even if you guys still want, because she's worked for the company for 20 years and I worked for the company for 2.5 years, even if you still want to back her on everything she did, why did she contact my best friend? Someone she was not even in charge of anymore. In what way did she have any right to destroy my friendship with someone that I truly love and truly care about? Someone who fell in love with my daughter, someone whom my daughter loves so much. My mother loves this person. She loves my mom. She bought my mom a Mother's Day gift, and I didn't even know how much that meant to her. And when we went to visit her at her new store, she literally got asked, and I literally wanted to look at the guy and be like, what the fuck business is it of yours? But he came up and goes, so who are these people? None of your business. That's who we are. And she literally said, this is my family. So it's like, you had all of that. And because this person decided she wanted to ruin my life for another person that now no longer works for the company, caused all that problems, transferred, and then quit again. She quit on 2 separate occasions, got transferred on 2 separate occasions for not doing her job properly, and she did all that for her, and yeah. But what right did she have to get involved with my friendship? What right did she have to get involved with someone that I call family? She's still my family, and I still love her with all my heart. Always will. She's a very important person in my life, and she believed in me when nobody else did. And I have to thank her for a lot of success in my life. But what right did this person have to ruin my career at a job that I absolutely love? What right did she have to accuse me of something that is just unbelievable to me, and something that I still hold, and even though nobody really cares about it, but yet I still feel it daily. Now it's been this was 2018, beginning of December, end of November, because I had just done Black Friday shopping. So now we're in 2020, so about a year and a month, year and 2 months. What right did she have of accusing me of that and causing me mental anguish and just making me feel like the lowest form of scum on the planet? What right did she have, CFL Pizza Hut, to do all that? Yes, this is Florida. It's a right to work state. But that is wrong. And that's why, honestly, I'm doing this video, because Florida needs to not be the whole right to work state needs to go away. To protect businesses and not protect individuals, that to me is not right. And because of the fact that it's a right to work state, no lawyer would take my case. No lawyer would take my case, because this is a right to work state, and because they can ultimately fire me for anything, and it doesn't really matter. That's fucked up. And it's just not right. And this person now is making 2 times the salary she was making. So you just gave her more power. And look what she does with it. She ruins people's lives. Now, yeah, I'm looking to do good now. And I'm finally feeling good in so many aspects of my life. But it took me over a year to get to this point. And I'm nowhere near what I was. I am still going to always have that hanging over my head. And that's wrong. So I'm putting this out there. I know it's been a year and a half, but I don't want this to happen to anybody else. And the thing of the matter is, why does being accused of that bother me so much? I was raised by my mother and her mother, my Nana. I can tell you every single one of my best friends from kindergarten up, which was Laura, who actually treated me like crap in high school, Maggie, Nightingale, which love you. I really miss you. You left at fourth grade, but I really miss you because you were my friend for 6 years. Christina, which another person I miss. She was my friend outside of school, which was very rare. But I always say, and I still believe to this day, if she hadn't have moved somewhere and I hadn't moved somewhere, her and I probably would have ended up together. Um, then you have Brandy, Adriana, uh, Kirsty, Mandy, and then the next two I'm not going to say because one's my ex and one's no. Uh, and then Katrina. Those have been my best friends my entire life. And now my new friend that's going to be my bestie, is also a female. My daughter. And, I have a daughter. I have two female cats, which has nothing to do with this. But it's like, I got accused of sexual harassment and been made to feel like a piece of shit. And for the last 10 years of my life, especially the last 8, technically. But when I got the job at Pizza Hut, so the next 4 years, which 3.5 now, going into the fourth year, when it came to my job, everything I did was to make my daughter proud. And then I got fired for that. That has hurt me more than anything else in this world, to be accused of that. And then to sit there knowing that I did nothing wrong. And the company just not giving a shit about me. 2.5 years, working 7 days a week, 55 hours, constantly going in. There were several months where I live with my daughter. My daughter lives with me. And there were months that went by where I didn't see her. And she lived with me. You tell me how kind of bullshit that is. And then for them not to even just investigate it. Now, going beyond that, and this is something I want to tell every fucking company out there, and honestly, I think a company should be made strictly for this. Certain things like that should not be investigated by anybody who has a stake in that store. So the area coach that was at that store every single day for 3 months should not have been the one investigating it. Someone that was friends with somebody who was influencing her should not have been investigating that. Ultimately, she should not have been investigating that, period. And when it comes to the area of sexual harassment, it should not be investigated by one person, and it should not be investigated by one person of two people of the same sex. So ultimately, in my mind, it should have been investigated by both a man and a woman who had no stake in the store whatsoever, who did not know any single person in that store or this company. They should have been the ones to investigate it. Not someone that was clearly biased and was trying to get rid of me. In fact, the 3 months leading up to this, she had threatened me on multiple occasions. My job. One specifically because the general manager that replaced the general manager that trained me was trying to get me to do something that I had been told was against company policy. He was trying to get me to bump orders off the screen that were not done in order to keep our times correct. And I refused to do it. He yelled at me at the top of his lungs and then told me if I didn't like it to call her. Now, up to that point, I had a good relationship with her, so I went to call her. Now, the more I think about it, the more fun it becomes because she was in the store. So she heard everything he just said, heard him yelling at the top of his lungs at me, and then still told me later on that she almost fired me because clearly I was not working. I was just going around the store bitching about him. while everybody else was working, which everybody in that store could tell you was a bold-faced fucking lie. I worked my ass off all the time. So she threatened me for that. She told me that it was my fault that one manager got transferred, even though that one manager got transferred because she was causing trouble between multiple people, not just me. So she was constantly threatening me, and for the month previous, I would look at the assistant manager and I said, oh, it's clear that she wants to get rid of me. She's wanting to fire me, but it's so stupid. I'm not doing anything to get fired. So he heard me say that multiple times, only to have her come out and seek a reason to fire me. Again, companies should not let anybody in that store, let anybody who has a stake in that store, let anybody who knows any individual in that store or in that company or in the situation, should not be the ones that investigate this kind of claim. It should be a third party that doesn't know any of the members, and truthfully, in my mind, should not even work for that company to begin with. It should be a contracted company that comes in, investigates the situation, doesn't even know anybody's name in the company, maybe the person that hired them, and that's it. But they should come in, show no bias to the situation, show no bias to the accusations, show no bias to any individual in the thing, and that's who should be investigating this kind of stuff. And it should be a two-person team that then they do investigations separately, and then they come together, go over their findings, and then come to a decision together. Or they may have a supervisor, but ultimately together in my book. So again, I'm putting it out there, and if anybody from CFL has anything to say about it, my phone number is in your records. And you can always comment on here, give me an email, phone number, whatever. I don't care, because ultimately I got screwed over by these individuals. Again, I will say this again and again and again. CFL Pizza Hut is an amazing company to work for. I made very good money there. I was given so many good opportunities there, but it was individuals, not the company, that did me wrong. And because of the people in power, and I had no one to contact, I got screwed over. So again, I just wanted to put this out there because this kind of stuff should not happen. You know, blood, sweat, and tears being put in this thing, and I get fired, and then it's very clear that somebody's abusing their power and they get promoted. And then, like I said, somebody with physical evidence, 2-week investigation. Still gets fired, but a 2-week investigation with a physical evidence. It'd be like saying, what is this sock? Like, what is it? You know, is it a comic book character? Is it a movie? What is it? It's clearly a Flash sock. And oh, that's why. I was like, why do I have those on my bed? Because I actually just took them off. But it's clearly a thing. It'd be like saying, you know, what wrestling promotion is this from? I wonder what wrestling promotion this is from. And taking a 2-week investigation to figure out that it is a WWE belt, whereas mine is hearsay. And it was a 2-day investigation where my side wasn't even taken till the end. So, again, and then I in no way, basically, didn't just, you know, I was accused of sexual harassment. Technically, grabbing someone's ass is not just sexual harassment, it's sexual assault. It could be considered that. Again, I'm probably going to be told I'm wrong, but it's like, that's literally touching someone in an inappropriate way. That's beyond, and she got a write-up. A write-up. She still got had her job at the end of the day. No investigation, just a write-up and done. And this was on separate occasions. She was told not to do it. So technically that's 2 write-ups. If you don't know how write-ups work, you get a warning write-up and then you get a first write-up. Then you get a second write-up and you get a third write-up. As soon as you get the third write-up, nobody can protect you anymore. That's why don't mess with anybody, because if a manager gives you a third write-up, it doesn't matter who you know in the company, all of that is now on record and you're immediately fired. But she got a write-up, which means she had a warning beforehand and still not fired. Me, I got fired after a 2-day investigation. But then again, she knew the area coach and the area coach liked her. So anyway, that's what this one was about. I'm going to probably do another video a little later on where I'm going to talk about the future of what I want to do with my channel once I get my, once my laptop comes back. Like I said, ultimately this video was just, I wanted to be transparent and I want to protect somebody from this happening to them again. Because this happened to me and it completely has destroyed my life for over a year, and I'm just now getting back to feeling like myself again. So hopefully this never happens to you or anybody you know. And again, if anybody knows anybody in CFL Pizza Hut, go ahead and let them know. I would love for them to contact me. I really would, because again, I would love to work for the company again. I love my job now, but you know, it's something that I know. If you know any of my friends, again, send Katrina my love and best wishes. Like I said, she's probably one of the best people I've ever met. She's one of the most caring individuals, and she gets so much shit, and you can kind of tell she's been through a lot of stuff. So I'm constantly worried about her. So again, send her my love if you know me and know her. Other than that, I will see you later. Adios.